Good morning and happy Friday. I'm Nancy from Nancy's Health and Wellness and Mindset Life Coaching. How is everyone doing today? So, of course, I'm getting the pop-ups out of here. Today I want to talk about seasonal affective disorder, or SAD. And I also want to share with you some research I'm doing on sleep and the man behind my research, or the research behind the man, any way you want to slice it. I also want to thank you for being here, for commenting. I'm also going to have a couple viewer questions I get in my mailbox, email, and I want to share just 2 of them with you. Last time I shared 3. I'm just going to do a couple today. So with that, let's get going with today's topic. So I want to bring attention to this because we are entering winter, and this seasonal affective disorder affects millions of people, and it's a mood disorder that people with sort of normal mental health during the rest of the year, and then it hits them in the winter. So it's a mood disorder subset. So it's a valid issue, and I know that years ago people were kind of, questioning it, or many people don't understand it. I'm going to share a little bit of information that I've researched, and then you can also look, of course, on the internet. You can look it up and see more information. Mine is from Wikipedia and from the mental health actual diagnosis book. So that's where I'm getting my information today. So some of the symptoms that people have, this is a major depressive disorder. So some of the symptoms are going to be like feeling hopeless, feeling worthless, losing interest in activities that they once really enjoyed. And, and this sounds very familiar. It sounds a lot like depression, or, flickers of clinical depression as well. So this is not something to just kind of slough off and it's not a big deal. Seasonal affective disorder is a major depressive disorder, and it is a medical condition. So if you are having sort of like, the feelings of hopelessness, feelings of worthlessness, there can be suicidal thoughts with this as well. I would highly encourage anyone who's feeling this way, or if you know someone who's going through something similar, to seek counseling and see a professional. So I also want to encourage you to look this up, seasonal affective disorder, if you have any more questions about it. It was really first discovered in the 1980s, and most people don't even, or maybe some people haven't even heard of it. So just a quick overview. Seasonal affective disorder is it's a mood disorder subset. So what that means is you can have a sort of normal, whatever normal is, mental health during the rest of the year, and then winter comes along and you become depressed, and you have really, a lot of people struggle with this, especially where I live in the Pacific Northwest. Our climate is, Seattle, gray, cold. I mean, I even, when I was in Maui earlier this year, I bumped into many people, but this one group in particular, they were from California. And I said, well, you guys have sunshine there. And they're like, well, where are you from? I said, Seattle. They're like, oh, we know why you're here. So it's kind of just like a joke. If you live in Seattle, you're basically more prone to this in climates like Seattle, in the Pacific Northwest. You're going to sort of, it's more prominent here than say like Florida. And light therapy, there's red light therapy, there's all kinds of different light therapy that has been proven to be effective for seasonal affective disorder. So that's something to look into as well. And of course, people don't really understand why they're getting kind of, down in the dumps and depressed, and, the rest of the year they're fine, they feel okay, and they're happy. So this is something that I wanted to bring attention to. And the next thing I want to talk about is, can you see that? Why we sleep. Why we sleep. Unlocking the power of sleep and dreams. Matthew Walker, PhD. This guy is so incredible. I featured something from him, a video last week on my timeline here on the wellness site. And I would encourage you to listen to a little snippet of it and see if it makes sense to you. This book, Why We Sleep, this book is fascinating to me. Obviously, we know that we need to have a certain amount of sleep, and some people require less sleep and some people require more. But this book is very insightful, and I'm learning things that I didn't know before. And that's really part of my research is, let me get these pop-ups out of here. Part of my research is learning things that are, relevant to my job, because I am a health and wellness professional, and I also am a mindset coach. And, your overall health and wellness, I always say this, but your physical and your mental go hand in hand. And, sometimes as we age, our sleep gets disrupted because the melatonin levels are dropping and we are not getting as much sleep. So I know there's a lot of people out there that have issues with insomnia and issues with actually, like, they can fall asleep, but if they wake up, they can't go back to sleep. That's a problem that sometimes occurs for me. Not all the time, but sometimes. So if you're interested in this book, Why We Sleep, Unlocking the Power of Sleep and Dreams, Matthew Walker, PhD. He is out of UC Berkeley, California. There's another sleep scientist I listened to not too long ago on a podcast that was extremely riveting. Just hearing the different information. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish this book. I'm going to get key highlights out of this, and I'm going to share this information with all of you. We all sleep. We all do this every night. So this is something that is very important to our overall health, and I want to share that with you guys. So that's something I'm working on right now. The other thing I wanted to is to share with you is my mailbox. And so here we go from my mailbox, and I don't look at these and think of an answer. I just write the questions down, and then I share them with you guys, and I want to be as authentic as I can. So here are here's a question from Julie. And Julie, I want to thank you for writing in, and I appreciate your question. So Julie says, do you have an office that you do your coaching from? So I don't have an office. I work from home. I do Zoom meetings with my clients, and then I do a phone call, and then we meet in person. I have the library, like the local library. I can book that meeting room. And there's a couple other places, public places, that I meet my clients as well. So I don't have an office yet. I also don't have enough clients. I have, like, it's more of a part-time situation that I have. So it hasn't turned into full-time yet. So I don't really need an office. What I'm doing right now, the Zoom, the meeting in public, the phone call during the week, that's working out just great. and producing great results for my clients as well. And as you know, on this wellness site, everything that I do here is free to you. All of my videos, my YouTube channel, everything is free to you. So that's that. Thank you for that question, Julie. And the next question is from Zach. How do you maintain such a positive mindset? You are inspiring. Thank you, Zach. I appreciate that. How do I maintain such a positive outlook? I've covered this before on a couple of videos. I think some people are just naturally more optimistic and a little bit more sort of positive. It's something that I definitely, I feel I'm very optimistic, but that's different than positive. So to answer the question, how do you maintain such a positive mindset? It's practice. It's practice. I have a 90-second rule when something happens to sort of disrupt my mood, or if I'm getting irritated with something, I think about it for 90 seconds and then I just let it go. Other times it's harder to let certain things go. We're human. So it just involves a lot of practice and a lot of sort of, does this really matter? Does this warrant my energy and my attention? Because, most of the time you can just let things go. And that gives you a more stress-free existence. And that's kind of what I like to do, is just sort of, think about it, and is this going to matter to me, down the road? Is this something I really want to be upset about today? Maybe it just doesn't warrant any of my energy at all. So that's kind of how I do that. It takes practice. And I don't always have a positive attitude. Like I said, I'm human. There are times where I get very frustrated with certain situations, and I've got to look at my mindset, and I've got to shift it out of that into something more positive and constructive. So thank you, Zach, for your question, sending me an email. I appreciate it. If any of you have a question for me, please do not hesitate to send me your question via Messenger or my email. My personal email address is on this wellness site. You can find it in the About section. Also, you can find my YouTube channel, which has over 50 videos right now that are all coaching videos, free to you, educational. And so if you want to take a look at any of them, you can kind of decide which ones you want to take a peek at by the topics, and they're all available to you for free. And you just have to click the URL and it'll take you right over there. Also, if you like this video and you gained some insight from it, or it helps you or helps anyone else, which is always my goal, please hit that like button. I have been hounding friends, etc., because they see the videos, but they haven't clicked on, clicked the like button or whatnot. So I think my friends are getting better at it, and I appreciate that. And I appreciate all of you as well. And also, if you're watching this on YouTube, hit that subscription button, subscribe, and also hit that notification bell, and you will get notified every time I have a new video. So thank you all so much. I massively appreciate each and every one of you. And if this has helped you in any way, then it warms my heart. It's my goal. So have a great Friday. Have a wonderful weekend. And I will see you guys later, probably next week, with another video. Take care.